Hi everybody, it's Danny here from Handmade Papercraft. Today I am working with Helmar adhesives and I am using a stamp from Whimsy Stamps called Ellie's Bauble. So I have already previously stamped the image out, so we're just starting on the Copic Coloring. So I've got him stamped out on some Express at blending card, and like I said, I'm colouring him up using Copic markers. Now I do have this super sped up for you. This video was really long because I did add quite a few layers into my card, and obviously the image did take a little while to colour in. So on my little image here, I am using some of my N markers. So I'm using N1, N3, N5, and the colourless blender as well. So I'm just using those in different amounts of levels. So I'm using 1, 3, 5 for one area, 5, 7 for another area, 1 and 3 for another area, that sort of thing. That's how you get all of those different layers of colour. So I'm just working my way through. I'll just run through a few of the other products that I will be using in my card today. I'm using some of the Helmar acid-free liquid adhesive. You've seen me using that a lot lately. I really like it. And look, I've still got almost a full bottle left. So that shows you that it doesn't take a lot of that adhesive to stick things down. I am also using some pattern papers from Kaisercraft. I'm using the first Noel 6.5 inch pad. Also using some Kaisercraft decorative dies. I'm using my white gel pen, some Wink of Stella. I'm also pulling out my Spellbinders Nestabilities. I have had my Nestabilities for so long. I think they were one of the first products that I started buying, and I really love them. So I will never sell them, and as I see other label dies that I don't have, I start to add all of those into my collection. Something else that I haven't used for a while that I am going to use on this card is my Ranger Emboss It pen. So that's basically an embossing ink pad, but it's actually in pen form. So if you're good at nice handwriting and things like that, or you're wanting to add certain decorative elements onto something, you can actually use this pen and it applies embossing ink. So I will use that later on in my project, but I wanted to talk a little bit about it and let you guys know, a little bit about the products that I do use. So while I was talking, I did pull out my Uni-Ball white gel pen, and I just added a few details onto the image. And as you can see, I keep drawing on my hand because it's a little bit lumpy and clumpy. I don't know why. It must have something stuck to it or something. I'll need to clean it later. And it also, the warmth of your hand actually activates the ink as well. So if you're having troubles with your pen, try drawing on your hand or on your arm, and it will activate that pen a little bit. Just the heat gets rid of all that clump on it. Here I'm just using some of my red markers. I didn't do the light color down first because red markers bleed very easy. So I wanted to be really careful on how much I applied. I didn't want it to be running everywhere. Adding in some gorgeous little blue eyes, and that is the image all colored up. Just going to add some Wink of Stella and he will be complete and ready to begin on a card. That's the Copics I used. Okay, let's get started. So this, as I said, this is the Kaisercraft First Noel 6.5 inch pad. Just pulling out a few layers that I really liked. The checkers on the back, the Christmas trees, and there's some little asterisks there. Had to open up a new pack of American Crafts cardstock. I didn't have any grey open, so I had to open a whole new pack. It's been a while. So I'm just cutting down some layers of that American Crafts cardstock. The black, the grey, the white I think was just some leftover. Cutting down the pattern papers and adding some layers in. So just trying to work out what I'm going to do and working out the placement of my image as well. So this is where I decided to pull out my Spellbinders dies. So as I said, this is the Labels 22. So I just ran that through my Big Shot. And I'm just pulling out some of the pop-outs from the patterned paper pad. So I'm using the Merry Christmas, the arrow, and I'm going to cut one of the sentiments from this patterned paper piece. I thought these were perfect and they were absolutely gorgeous, so I've just trimmed those down, and it actually fits perfectly within that arrow, so it was just perfect. Here I'm using the Kaisercraft Christmas trees. And I'm just using some of those layers from behind to run those dies through, because those layers are going to get covered up anyway. So I thought it was a good way to use that up and not waste it all. I'm just using my Helmar acid-free liquid adhesive to adhere everything together. Okay, so this is the Emboss It pen. So I'm just tracing over a sentiment that I printed out on my printer. I'm adding some Ranger, this is the Princess Gold. I'm going to heat it up using my heat tool, and it will look just like an embossed sentiment. Cutting it down. Now, before I move too much, I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to take a photo of my project. So if I mess anything up, I've got a photo and I know exactly how I had it all placed. So now we're going to put all of those layers together using that acid-free from Helmar. And like I said, less is more with this adhesive. You don't need a lot on there. So just going layer by layer and adhering everything. Here you can see my little Christmas tree cutouts and see me get them all covered up. So you no longer know that a Christmas tree has been cut out of those cardstocks. Applying those Christmas trees down. And then I'm going to add all of those sentiments and pop-outs. I'm going to use some Home & Co metallic paper to punch out a star. I used my EK Success star confetti punch, and I did rub some of the adhesive on because I did put way too much on that star and I didn't want it to leak everywhere. I'm just pulling my Copic markers back out. I'm just adding some snow underneath the little elephant, and then I'm going to start adhering everything to a Kucha Creations card base. And I'm going to decorate the inside of the card as well, just using those same layers. I'll then pop a white square down, and that's my card pretty much complete. So I thank you all for watching. I've got all of the links below the video, and everything else is on my blog. So check it all out, and I will see you soon. Bye!